Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizzTalk World Talk Show presented by 𝗪cie Creators. Today, we have Mr. 𝗪cie Carmazzi with us. 𝗪cie is ranked as one of the world's top 10 most influential thought leaders in leadership and organizational culture by global gurus. He's also the best-selling author of Game On, Reinventing Organizational Culture with Gamification. The second book is the 6 Dimensions of Top Achievers. And also, he has written many other books, including Identity Intelligence. But if I keep on saying everything about him, I think I should just give 𝗪cie a chance to introduce himself. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to the man himself, 𝗪cie. Hey, 𝗪cie.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow, that was an amazing intro, though. So, 𝗪cie, thank you for joining us. First of all, we're really honored to have you as as a guest here. But before we dive deeper, let's just talk about you, like your journey overall.
Okay. Okay. So, well, I guess my journey starts at least in this part of my life. My journey starts with a huge failure. See, have you ever had a job?
Yeah, I do have a job, 𝗪cie.
I had one, right? And I got this job because I had started my own business, and then I ended up like $500,000 in debt, which is really stressful. I do not recommend it. Do not try this at home. So I got this job, and it was a good paying job. I was a department head of this big multinational, and you know how when you first start your job, like you're super excited and you're thinking, wow, this is going to be awesome. So that's basically where I was. And then after a while, I noticed that everybody was blaming everybody, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what is wrong with these people? And then I go and say, hey, I've got these really cool ideas. And they'd say, look, we understand that you're new here, but you do your thing, we'll do our thing. And like, oh my gosh. And I thought, no problem. I'll be able to fix it. I'll be able to make things happen. And, I was very excited. And 4.5 months later, you know what happened?
Please tell me.
I started to blame people, and then people would come up to me for help, and I'd say, look, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. I got sucked in. And the thing is that I just felt stuck in my job, and I felt like, it was just a chore, and I lost all my passion. I was waiting for people to tell me what to do. I just kind of became a total underachiever. And even though I was spending less work time, I wasn't fulfilled. And so what happened was, eventually, I kind of looked in the mirror and I said, you suck. I mean, not you, I mean, like, in the mirror, right? So I went and I talked to these other bad people, the ones that were making my life difficult. And I found out something completely unexpected. I found out that they were real human beings, and that they also had standards and wanted to achieve things, but they also got sucked in. So I'm thinking, wow, okay, so there's something here. So I was, kind of already an underachiever. So I started spending a little more of my busy work time to do research to fix this problem. And ultimately, after about 9 months, roughly, I had discovered a variety of different things and kind of put it down into a framework, which later became known as the Directive Communication psychology. And I started applying it, and we ended up saving the company $17,000 a week in wastage.
Wow.
And so after that, I started writing articles and started, got on the radio, then got on TV, and people started calling me. So I was able to quit my job. And well, 20 years later, here I am.
Wow. That's amazing. So, wow, I'm just trying to consume everything what you've just said, and it makes absolute sense to me. But let's talk about, so this was your journey, and you have, as you mentioned earlier, that you started as a failure, which so I'm sure there must be a lot of obstacles in your path of success. So yeah, so how did you overcome them and supersede them? Not that it's because now you're so successful and you've been through certain things. So I think you should be able to inspire other people who are going to listen to this interview. So please throw light on that.
I mean, even recently in the past year and a half, the pandemic, right? So, I mean, we were fortunate enough that we already had a very good online presence and we already had some online programs and stuff. But, you know, still there were some things that we tried that were just total flops. And you know, when you try stuff and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you keep trying it over and over again. It means you try something new or try it in a different way, or you get new partners or new ways to do it or whatever. I mean, you know, it's honestly, you know, there's, you know, I would love to say that I'm like some super smart guy that can, you know, tell the future and know exactly what's going to happen. But in reality, it's all trial and error. Okay. And I should say, you know, the fortitude to keep on trying, because that's really the key, right? I mean, you know, there will be times, no matter how successful you are, when you fail. Okay, and as long as you try something else or get new partners that know stuff that you don't and help and get them to work with you, anything is possible.
Wow. All of this makes sense. Absolute sense. And I am just not like, I don't like it for some reason that everything is making absolute sense. And this is how I am. This is how is everybody. This is crazy. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's talk about like team management or people management, because I think all of us somewhere, you know, we get ahead in life, we get to manage people. At the same time, we have a family that we have to manage. So this is going to help everybody. So what are your methods of team management or people management per se?
All right. Well, first of all, my method is the anti-model method. Okay. Which means that like there's no model for, you know, okay, for example, you know, like they have these leadership models, right?
Right.
Okay, and it's like, oh, if you're a transformational leader, you do this and you do this and you do this, and you're a transactional leader, you do this and you do this and you do this. And then you go to this leadership course and you think, wow, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it. And then you last for about like 2 weeks and then you go back to doing the same thing you were doing before because it's not you. Okay. And this is, you know, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter whether it's team management, leadership, whatever. So for example, here's the thing. Okay. Number one, let's just take 2 different companies that are reasonably successful. Let's take Google and let's take Citibank. All right. So let's take the CEO of Citibank. All right. And then the CEO of Citibank. Okay. Let's put him as the CEO of Google. How do you think he's going to do? Okay. I'm guessing he's probably going to suck at it. Okay. Not because he's a bad leader, but because he doesn't fit within the culture. So see, everything that you do as a leader, as a team, everything else is all relevant to the culture that you are in. You notice how sometimes, like, you know, where you're with one group of friends and you're like super creative and like you're doing all kinds of crazy stuff and you're assertive and able to do things and confident. And then you go into a different group of friends and you're maybe less confident, a little bit more quiet. It's still you. But the environment, the culture of each group affects who you are. So anytime you're creating some kind of a leadership model or team synergy or improving something, you have to basically do it in conjunction with understanding the culture that you're in. And then you find the elements that are specific to the individual and help that person create their own ideal leadership model within that culture. Okay, it's not a cookie cutter approach. It is a process by which people discover the best parts of themselves relative to the environment that they're in so that they can make an impact.
Wow. Altogether, you've actually, Arthur, you have given a completely different dimension to team management. And I am kind of like really happy that I asked you this question, because I am getting to learn a lot. Okay, so one thing, you are world's #1 expert in organizational culture, right? Why? So it might be it might be a bit same than the previous when it comes to the previous question and this question. But, there must be some difference. So why is your culture development process different from everyone else's? Obviously, that makes you stand out. That makes you different. That's the answer itself. But
excellent question.
Thank you.
All right. So, well, first of all, here's the thing. Okay. One of the most common processes is the outdated version. Okay. Now, not every process is like this, but you still have people that think that the management is very knowledgeable and wise. And so therefore the management decides what kind of culture that you should have, and they just impose it on you. Okay. Which doesn't work anymore. Okay, it used to work back then when people didn't have internet, and it's like whatever. And even then, it took like 5 or 6 years. Yeah. Right. So now everybody now has this. They got this, right? Okay, and this gives everybody a personal sense of power. Okay, they have a voice, they have power, they have the power to feel their emotional gratification. So they don't need to get those emotional gratifications from their work, from their job anymore. So the culture now, the expectations, okay, are very different. So number one, a top-down organizational culture process will not work. Okay, so that's not now. Okay, it won't. Okay, and then there's the bottom up. Okay, so our process is bottom up, but wait, there's more. Okay, first of all, you have to get the people to create the culture. Now, there are within within every organization, there are what we call key influencers or informal leaders. Right? Now, these people, they don't have to have a leadership role. I mean, in some of the programs that we have done, I mean, we actually had like the tea lady being a key influencer, because she would listen to everyone, and then because she knows everybody's problems, she'd also give advice, and then the advice would turn out to be good because like this person from this department is gossiping about this person, and so she had more real insight into the organization than the CEO. Okay, and and this 67-year-old lady, right? That's like, oh no. And then you've got other people that that you don't really think of. Sometimes it's just somebody new. There was an oil company that we worked with. There was this one lady, she was 25 years old. She'd only been working for the organization for about 4 months, already huge influence. Why? Because she was classy and she was absolutely drop dead gorgeous, and all the guys would just basically go, okay, whatever you want, right? So there's different kinds of influence, but there's the way that people respond to someone is not necessarily because they have a leadership role, right? If somebody just basically inspires you, there was another guy, he was just hilarious, okay, and because he was funny and he would but he also did his job and everything else, people just liked him, respected him. Okay, so you've got these people that people respect. Those are key influencers. Now they actually are the ones that are going to lead everything. But see, it's and what we call this process is the revolution process, because it's based on a couple of different things. One of them being the CIA process of creating coups in various countries, where they would go and implant people to essentially create a revolution. Right? And it's the same thing, except that you don't have to overthrow the CEO, because the people, when you get the people involved and these key influencers then create cells, then what happens is that they end up coming up with the kind of organizational culture that they want. Now, here's the best part. Okay, number one, it's predictable. Before we even start the process, we already know what's going to happen. We've already approved it with senior management. So when people come up with, when the people, and I mean the people, the organization, come up with what they want to do, what they want to change, how they want to do it, the senior management simply says, wow, that's great, let me sign here. And people are going, huh? What? Because it's instant. See, that's the other biggest problem with other organizational culture problems. It takes too long. People check out. If you don't start seeing results quickly, it's like, oh no, not another management thing that we have to work harder for, right? There are fundamentals that where people get excited when they start to see results. We can start seeing results within 4 days and start seeing very visible results in 2 weeks. And that's where the difference is. Okay, and it's all because the people are creating it, and it's also based on one thing which we call the greater purpose, right? So one of the 5 elements of creating transformation in organizations, the greater purpose, and that greater purpose is basically the ideal working environment, and everybody, more or less, has the same idea. It doesn't matter what culture, what age, what education. We've asked this in 57 different countries. We've, hundreds of thousands of people, that included in, all of these different surveys and everything that we've done. And it's more or less the same stuff. Number 1, okay, they want teamwork. Okay. Number 2, they want something related to trust. Okay, either be trusted, be able to trust people, transparency, allowing innovation, autonomy, things like that, right? The other thing is clarity. They want to know where they need to go in order to succeed in the organization. Number 3 or number 4 is a supportive, something, where you can go and you talk to people. Okay, and it's not necessarily the just the teamwork. It's like, oh, if I could only go and talk to the finance manager and get this problem solved, and they would actually listen to me, kind of thing, right? And then finally, fun. People want fun, and if you just kind of combine all these things into various elements of support and then people are excited to work there. But these are the foundations of the problems that people want to solve and what will create their ideal working environment. And you get people focused on this and get them to solve the problems to achieve it. And then, of course, we give them the methodology as well, the psychology to achieve it as well. And then it's done. Visible results in 2 weeks.
Okay. First of all, Arthur, thank you so much for sharing, your knowledge and wisdom with us. My last question to you is, sadly, we have come to an end of this beautiful interview and conversation. More than an interview, it was a conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. One thing that I would really like to learn from you is, how do you manage your time? Because obviously, you keep busy the entire day. You have a really hectic schedule. But so how do you manage everything?
Oh yeah, see, I'm not one of these guys that likes being busy, so I try. First of all, I like spending time with my kids, like spending time with my wife. I like to kind of enjoy things. I manage my time by finding other people that can do stuff for me. Okay, so that way I don't have to be so busy. So I mean, yeah, sure, there's times where it's only you that needs to deal with stuff, but for the most part, it's helping people to be super competent so that they can make decisions, and then it makes your life a lot nicer, and you have much more balance and, well, basically just a better quality of life in general. So I mean, one thing though that when I am working though that is important for me is I have 3 screens, right? So one screen for the communications, like emails, WhatsApp, Telegram, LinkedIn, all these things. So it's all there. You can see what's going on. Somebody sends you a message, you can instantly reply. So it's like, whoa, people are thinking, wow, Arthur's instantly replying, and then there's the other one where you've got whatever it is that you're working on, which is your front screen. And then on the other side is like all the references and related stuff that you need to do, or calendar or whatever that needs to happen during the day. So that way, you kind of have an understanding of what's going on. So that way you can just kind of, okay, there's nothing special that I need to do. So very important to just kind of get up and take a walk around, ideally around nature every 30 minutes or so that you can refresh your brain and have more ability to be creative. I like to focus on creating and things and building stuff rather than on managing stuff.
Right.
So that's why I got other people to do.
When you just said that you get other people, you make them competent to do the stuff and, make their own decisions. Then again, the leadership is coming into the picture here, because you being a great leader, you have been able to, pass on this information and your knowledge and wisdom to other people so that they can become better leaders here. Right. So I guess everything is just interconnected here.
There you go. And also creating a culture, environment that supports that, even if it's online right now, because a lot of our staff are virtual right now. So even though we still have a few come to the office, but a lot of them have kind of moved, working from home and stuff as well.
Wow, that's again a lovely environment for everybody, working from their own comfort and everything. All right, okay. Thank you so much, Arthur. One last thing. So basically, I am like a big fan of writing, and like I love reading, but it's just that I've not been able to develop like a huge interest in books like about leaderships and culture and things. I've more into being like into literature, fiction, but these days I've started reading. So one thing that you would like to suggest our viewers, that one book that everybody should read?
This one.
Game On, Reinventing. Yeah, we actually talked about it in your intro.
And the reason why, because it's not just about organizations. If you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a husband or a wife, if you're a parent, I mean, the idea is understanding the psychology of motivation and how you can basically create systems where everybody can have more fun. I mean, ultimately, that's the whole idea, right? If you're having more fun with whatever it is that you're doing, life is better, right? So,
absolutely.
And a lot of people have difficulty with their kids doing stuff at school and stuff like that. I mean, my kids have written books. They've created their own online program. I mean, they do all stuff, not because they were necessarily disciplined, but because we've gamified everything, right? So
right.
It makes it, when things are fun, things change. It doesn't become work.
Wow. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Arthur, for sharing such great insights with us. Before I let you go, I really want to ask you, a t-shirt says DC. So are you a DC fan?
Well, no, this is DC, Directive Communication Psychology.
I thought DC. Oh, yeah. Wow. Again, I need that. I really need that. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing such great insights with us yet again. We really look forward to having a chat with you again on some other trending topics or in the international business industry, of course. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Arthur, please like and share this video, and do not forget to subscribe to the Click Away Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming from the industry leaders like Arthur. Thank you so much. This is Bharti for BizzTalk signing off.